Some people have told me that I have a lot of charisma. I mean, I don't know if that's true. All right, fine. It's true. I have a lot of charisma. I want to share that charisma with you. I found that it's something that a lot of people want. They wish they had more of. I have so much of it, and I'm here to share it. This episode number 40, 40 something, 40, 41, 42. I think it's 42. Episode 42 of The Edward Show is 42. Episode 42 of The Edward Show is about charisma and how to develop it. Because actually, I haven't always been like this. And I recently went to this Microsoft event. Not Microsoft. It was a MasterCard event. Sorry, it was a MasterCard event. And the people there were so boring. They lacked charisma. And it had me thinking, what would have made these people that I wanted to be around? And I think a lot of great people want to be around charismatic people. I think the most charismatic people attract the greatest people. And this creates a positive feedback loop because at the end of the day, you are the people that you spend the most amount of time with. So if you attract great people to you, you become greater. Charisma attracts great people. It gives a bunch of superpowers. I'm going to list some of them. It builds trust. There's this idea of the charismatic leader, and people trust the charismatic leader. When you're charismatic, people trust you. They feel like they can trust you more. There's more of an emotional connection as well. And that's something else that builds trust. Charisma at its core, it's about invoking emotions. You are persuasive. People will do what you want. That sounds pretty good just by being charismatic. I've experienced this and I'll share some stories. And you are more memorable as well. You have that top of mind awareness. People, when they think of your niche, they think of you. Or when they think of somebody fun, they think of you. I recently talked about a 30-day challenge that I did where I had to go out meeting people every day. I did that, one, to keep me charismatic, but two, I like meeting new people and I wanted to see what would happen. That challenge ended a week and a half ago, and now I'm getting invited to all of these events just because I went out for a month meeting people. And now there's all these people, they have a good event coming up, they think of me and they invite me. And it's cool. And then you get attention as well. So you're more likely to have your message come across because people will pay attention to you. So you want to become great if you're not great already, or maybe you want to become greater. Maybe you're already great, but you want to become greater. You know what? You are already great. I'm going to tell you right now, you are already great, but you want to become greater. Attract the best people into your life. Do that with charisma. I really believe charisma attracts amazing people towards you, towards all of us. But how do you develop charisma? This is a black hole for a lot of people. Look, charisma as well. I'll say this. Disclaimer. It's not the be all end all. Charisma is not the be all end all. There's plenty of very successful people out there who lack charisma. But like I've said, I found that it's something that a lot of people wish they had more of. And I think I have a pretty good understanding of how to develop it. And so I'm going to share how to develop it. Number one, it's really like 3 tenets of the type of person you have to be be charismatic, to have charisma. Number one is be positive. I think that's a tenet of charisma, is just being positive. Saying, I believe in you. I love saying I believe in you to people. I say that to a lot of people. Even if I don't lie, but I do tell white lies. Because that's actually the interesting thing about positivity, is that is another positive feedback loop. If you tell someone that you believe in them, then they're more likely to actually do whatever you're telling them you believe in them for. So it's so much better to tell somebody that you believe in them. They also like you more. Number 2, just generally be optimistic. That's in line with being positive, but just have an optimistic attitude that things will work out well. Generally speaking, it's not always, you don't always have to be optimistic, But I think, again, optimism, positivity go hand in hand. People like that. Those are two aspects of charisma. But the third one is the most important one. This is the most important one. And you don't have to be totally positive. You don't have to be totally optimistic, but you have to have this. And it's passion. And it sounds cliche, and it is cliche, and it's freaking true. And the reason why the people at that MasterCard event were so boring was there was nothing. When I would go around meeting people, I found that there was nothing that they were passionate about. And it was so depressing because everyone that I taught, not everyone, I met some people who were actually great, but 80% of the people who I met, it felt like they were just these hollow husks of people, because there was, when you're passionate about something, it gives you a core. People love passionate people. I'm very passionate in life and the things that I'm doing. And those are things that I like to talk about because I'm so passionate about it. And people, even if it's something that somebody doesn't understand, if somebody's really passionate about talking about it and sharing it, then other people will gravitate towards that passion. So have something in your life that you are very passionate about, and don't be ashamed of it. That's another thing. Maybe those people were. Okay, number 4 is don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Maybe some of the people that I met were passionate about things, and they felt not entitled to talk about these things, or they were just too shy. And understand that just sharing, like, I don't know. I did ask a bunch of people, like, what are you most passionate about? And people really had lackluster answers. I like to ask people what they're passionate about because I want to try to make them charismatic. I want to try to see what lights them up, because that will make me like them more, and it'll also be more entertaining to me. I get to learn new things. And so when someone doesn't have a good answer for what are you passionate about, that's, for me, it's just, this is a boring person. This is somebody who I'm not going to learn much from. So I like to meet people who are passionate about things. And I think if you're passionate about something, you're going to attract incredible people towards you. So to have something in your life that you care about a lot, and then don't be shy talking about it. Don't be shy talking about it. Don't be shy sharing it. You can couple this with being a great listener, with listening to people, going down different conversation paths. Typically what happens with me is when I meet people, I talk about this a lot. When I meet people, I actually shut up at the beginning. I am pretty charismatic, but I shut up at the beginning because I want to allow people to get out of their shells and to talk. And then what will happen is people will talk. They'll get tired of talking about themselves, and then they'll ask about me. And then, I'm bursting with the passion for the things that I'm working on, for the things that I've done, for the plans that I have. And people can see that, and they like that. And that's how my interactions go. I think that's a really good formula for an interaction if you're meeting a stranger. But if you want to become closer with somebody, if you want to have a stronger bond with another person, charisma is very important. And then if there's something that you're working on and you want to attract great talent as well, charisma, super important. So I'm going to give 2 stories about charisma. I learned this, by the way. Actually, I guess the first story is like just how I learned this. Like, I learned this working in New York City nightlife when I would get paid to bring people to the clubs that I was working for. And I would have to, people would have to trust me. They would have to find me fun to go to these clubs. They don't want to go with somebody who's boring. So they'd have to trust me. They'd have to find me fun to go to these clubs. And just over the course of several months of just trial and error, I got more and more charismatic, and it really helped me. And then people came to these clubs with me, and I got paid. And so that was how I learned charisma, just trial and error. I was not afraid to break a few eggs in order to learn it. Like, some people would be like, he's too boring. This guy is so boring. And for me, it's just like, okay, but I'm not going to be that way in several months from now. And I'm going to break the eggs. I'm going to figure this out. one step at a time. And this is something that I believe that I can develop just like anything else. And I was right. It is. And so you can develop it too. Anybody can develop charisma. Anybody can develop charisma. Anybody. So story number 2, and I love this story. This is at the end of 2017. Good friend, Alan Goldman. So I've mentioned a lot about this project, World of Ether. It made $500,000 in its first 48 hours of launch and $1 million by the end of the month. And it was the first play-to-earn game in crypto. Me and my friends invented play-to-earn. We were all co-founders of that. I was the head of marketing, the CMO for that. Small team, so head of marketing was a more apt title. I was a head of marketing for that team, for World of Ether, and a co-founder with Founders Equity. But while we were all co-founders, there was one founder, and it was this guy, still a friend, Alan Goldman. Alan Goldman was the true founder, the true inventor of Play to Earn, because he had this idea when this project, CryptoKitties, was going viral. Actually, I think he had the idea before, but then it solidified during CryptoKitties. This was in December 2017. Again, the project launched January 2018. And Alan has this idea, like, what if you could actually like make money playing video games, and you could like level up monsters, sell them on the open, level up monsters by battling, sell them on the open market and make money. And Alan had this idea, and it was a super ambitious idea. And he goes around, and Alan's a charismatic guy, and he goes around pitching all of his most talented friends into joining this project. And we all we all said no except for one person. And then he leveraged this. He's like, look, he came back to all of us. He's like, this person said yes. Then more people said yes. Now these people said yes. And then more people said yes. It was a team of about like 5 people, and only, I think, 3 out of the 4 that he approached were dismissive at first, and one did it, and then he leveraged that, came back, and we all founded this thing together, and it was pretty successful. And it just would not have happened if Alan wasn't passionate about it, if he wasn't charismatic about it. And Alan is somebody who attracts great people into his life. So many close friends of Alan's are hyper successful people. And a lot of my close friends as well, hyper successful people. Charisma attracts that. Charisma attracts great people who will in turn make you great or greater. So I'm very appreciative for the charisma that I have developed. I want to help other people develop it. And I hope that this episode helps you find charisma if that is something that you are looking for. This is episode 42 of my daily podcast, The Edward Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm going to talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.